Do you have a child or a person in your life that is blind or low vision and you are the helper, the leading them through life, the Johnny on the spot guy that is the helping them get things done that they need to do? Is that you in their life? We're talking to you today. Welcome to another Kristin and Charlie chat here on the Successibility channel. And for all of you that are raising your hand saying, that's me, I'm the helper, I'm amazing, guess what we're here to tell you? Stop it. And we're telling you with all the love and joy and extra doses of love in our hearts, you have got to stop it. I know. Now you want to pause. Now you're mad that you wanted to share this with everybody, to say that you are going to pat yourself on the back and you are such the helper. I get it. I've got two, now blind young men here out in the world, but I did have two little blind children in my house, and helping was what I wanted to do desperately, but I had to learn to back up, back off, and stop the word that hits my heart so hard, which is enabling. Oh my goodness. Charlie, help us here. Help us. I've now offended a lot of people. Please bring them back to us.
It makes perfect sense, right? You see a blind child, a blind adult, an individual struggling, or you think they're gonna struggle, and you want to make it painless. You want them to enjoy. So we step in and we do things for others that they can do for themselves. Maybe they got to learn, maybe you got to teach them, maybe you got to show them a few times, but they can do it. But let me just do it now. It's quicker. I got a busy life. I don't have all day to be, spend doing all that kind of stuff. And what we have found out over the years is that this harms people more than it helps people. In the moment, absolutely it helps. But over time, we step back from taking responsibility and stepping into what's possible in our lives because we expect somehow that somebody's going to do this for me. And as we move out of the home, if we ever do get that far, we find out that that isn't reality in the real world. And I'm going to share a quick story here about someone I hired in my company back in probably 1998. And this young gentleman came in all dressed up. And I knew he was pretty darn visually impaired because he put his hand out to shake mine and he was way off. And I'm legally blind too. And sometimes that's funny, two blind people shaking hands. But it was eye-opening to me because I realized, first of all, that he didn't know how to vacuum. We had a big retail store. It was all adaptive technology in it. He was it was a beautiful fit. And he was using adaptive technology. He knew certain things. He knew how to navigate with a cane. He knew Braille. He knew how to use a Braille input device. He knew how to use a computer with JAWS. But he didn't know a lot of other things, of life lessons. He didn't know how to vacuum. So I taught him. He didn't know how to mop floors. So I showed him how to do it as a person that can't see that well. He didn't know, he didn't know how to dress. He would come in with clothes that were very tight and short. And maybe sometimes they didn't match and it wasn't really presentable. And I'd say, who dressed you today? I did. I said, who taught you how to dress? Nobody. Oh, well, let's go shopping and let's learn this together. And let me teach you how to show up for success. And then eating, Kristin, I was blown away. I saw a pork chop. He was having lunch, and he just jabbed his fork in it, and he held it up in the air, and he chewed away at that. I said, what are you doing? You are not a caveman. I'm eating lunch. I said, yes, but weren't you told how to cut your meat, place your silverware, and use a napkin on your lap, and just take charge of your own life? No one. My mother cut my meat. They put it all on a plate. They did this, they did that. My dad did this for me. I never had to do chores around the house. I've never done my own laundry. I never had to go outside and work in the garden or sweep or mop or vacuum. I was completely enabled. Now, he didn't say that. He goes, I didn't realize the effects that was having on my life. In the moment, it made my life easier. But as I got older, I realized I don't know how to take care of myself. And let me tell you, Kristin, all the years in business, those kids, I did many programs through the state and all. We did all sorts of mock interviews. We did Shark Tank type events. We did school summer camps at my store, and the kids that were lost, the kids that struggled the most, had parents that did for them what they could do for themselves. But the parents needed to step back and stop thinking, oh, I don't want them to be embarrassed. I don't want it to be hard on them. I don't want them to do it wrong and look stupid. Because the parent's not really thinking of the kid, they're thinking of them. How it's going to look out in public, bringing this child. God forbid they embarrass me. I know that's a harsh one, but if we really peel back the onion, that's the truth. I was sitting next to my daughter in church at a school event, and the priest asked the question, and my daughter raised her hand, and I was like embarrassed. Because what happens if she answers it wrong? I'm going to look stupid. And I caught myself thinking, I was about to say, put your arm down. What are you, crazy? Because at that age, I didn't have the guts to participate like that. Because that's just, I had fear. I was legally blind. All my story was bad. Her story was excellent at that time. She felt confident to do that. But I got a big lesson in what it looks like to stop doing that, child, because you're going to make me feel embarrassed or look stupid. And I'm not thinking about your success. The fact that you just took charge, you raised your hand, you have the confidence to play full out in this, whatever it is. Your dad was putting himself in the years when he was your age and said, oh no. And it was a huge lesson for me. So over time in the store and in the trainings and the things I did, I started noticing it deeply, the effects of what enabling had on these kids. And I say, stop it. Stop it. You are hurting these kids more. We have the ability to form the lives of success, of succeeding without sight, because we might do it a little differently than sighted people. We might rely on hearing. We might rely more on tactile and our other senses. But we can build that life of success.
You know, Charlie, you hit so many points on the head there. And one of the biggest things that I'm just coming to realize is when you're saying that your daughter's sitting next to you and she raises her hand and that impact on you because you never could have done that at her age. Right? I think a lot of us parents struggle with helping our kids be independent and enable them instead is because we put ourselves in their place. And I know I did this, putting myself in their place and saying, at that age, if I had no vision, I wouldn't be able to do this. Well, of course I wouldn't have been able to do that because I had vision. I don't know life without sight. But this is what my oldest son, Michael, taught me at 3.5 years old. It is a different life. He is going to have a completely different experience at every age than I had. And all I had to figure out to do was get him the tools he needed and get out of his way. So one thing, if parents are sitting there right now thinking, oh dear God, I've messed this up. I don't know where to begin. I could tell you this. Begin with your version of the cups and plates drawer. This was something that I learned from Erik Weihenmayer, the big mountain climber, the blind mountain climber that has done all 7 summits. Now he's like working on Hollywood projects and all kinds of things. It was from him that I learned that his mom, when Erik was very young, he had 2 sighted brothers, there was a drawer in their kitchen that had the cups and plates that were kid proof, that strong plastic or whatever it was. And Erik and his brothers had to be responsible to get their own cups and plates when they were young, and setting the table. And she kind of built it from there. Like the next thing was Erik had to go food shopping with his mom, so that he knew how to pick out the food, bring it home, unpack it, put it away so he knew where it was. It was like incremental steps. As he got older, she'd add one more thing to make him independent in the kitchen. And then there were some other things that they did, but let's just focus on the kitchen for now. I did the same thing because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to begin with this. So I just copied Erik's mom's theory on the cups and plates drawer. And I have to tell you, there were sighted kids were at my house all the time. I have 3 kids. We were kind of the hub with all of the trampoline and all that stuff. Kids would come in and my kids would say to them, if you don't get your own cup and plate, she'll never remember to get it for you, because she doesn't do that here. We have to get our own. But my boys learned to get their own stuff, then to make their own snacks, then their own food. They come home now. When they're home on college break, or now when Michael visits on vacations from work because he's working, they're cooking, they're cleaning. Mitchell does the dishes. I love filling the dishwasher. I hate emptying it. So that is his job here at the house. He turns on the music. It's this big party in the kitchen. Like, the kitchen is not stressful for us with 2 blind kids. It is a hub of fun and activity, just as kitchens should be, right? So if you don't know where to begin with your version of the cups and plates drawer. Maybe your child is in high school and you're like, oh my gosh, I have enabled this child. Well, take it one step at a time. Look all day, spend a week looking all day for opportunities where you realize, oh, they could probably do that for themselves. And then have a conversation with your child that you're going to implement this new system, and start backing up one step at a time and wait easy. It's a little challenging at first if you've been doing all the things for them for so long, but I guarantee you that once they get through the struggle of having to do it on their own and they have one success, the confidence skyrockets. Then they have another one and another one. And before long, you're going to transform this child into someone that believes in themselves, has confidence, and then starts stepping out and maybe taking a risk or two. It's a completely different scenario.
You hit the nail on the head. Every little success builds confidence, esteem, more than any parent could ever imagine for that child or for that loved one or adult. That's what I saw when I was doing mock interviews. The kids had no confidence. They could not see themselves succeeding in a job. And I would say, do you really want to work at this place? Well, no, I don't know. Well, so it opens the door of creativity, of power, of independence, of interdependence, of community, of social interactions, of that maybe I'm legally blind, but I am just as important as everyone else around me in the workplace, at school. I'm not less than because of this. It's like, actually, I am a go-to guy for a lot of things, and I'm legally blind. Kristin, let me tell you, okay. Hello. I'm going to try again. I have 4 sisters, 1 brother. 4 out of 6 of us are all legally blind, all diagnosed at young ages. Not with my parents. This was not in their design for living. This was not their plan, to have 6 children and 4 of them have legal blindness. That wasn't the plan. Nor did they have a thriving blind academy to join, to come in to learn, to understand how to face this path as a family and succeed without sight, and succeed and go to colleges and maybe not go to colleges and all the wonderful things that we do in our academy. No, there was no such thing. But you know what my parents did? Nothing. They did not change anything. They did not treat us different, my sighted sister and I. treated the exact same way. We had to do our homework. We had to hand it in on time. We had to be kind. We had to say, yes, Mom. Yes, Dad. Thank you. We had to show up for dinner on time. We had to do the dishes. We had to do the garbage. We had to, well, my sisters didn't have to cut the lawn. Nobody have to. My dad didn't say you have to, but this is what it is to live under this roof. We are a family and we work together. No, so there's no excuses. You can't say I'm legally blind. I can't do that. No, that's not allowed. Figure it out. Find a way that does work for you. And I would be like, gosh, my father is so mean. Kristin, he taught me how to wash a car. I did not know how to do that. He showed me how you start from the top, how you soap it, how you put the bucket. Then he taught me how to trim a lawn. Then he showed me how to use a tractor and cut the lawn. Now, I don't see the different lengths. Grass is green, right? Well, you hope. This year, whoa. Yeah. Okay, but let's say the grass is green and maybe some's a little longer, but there's no contrast really. But when you go one way on a tractor, it lays it down so it builds a little bit of contrast. Now I know where to go in the other way. So I built a method that enabled me to cut a really good looking lawn when I was done. Guess how I felt when I was finished? Power. I felt really proud. Can you imagine if my dad said, you can't cut the lawn, you're legally blind. You can't wash a car, you're legally blind. Not only that, I had specific gardens at the house that I had to maintain, as in keep the weeds out. And I would quickly go and do it fast, and they'd come right back. He'd say, do you like doing it over and over? And I'd say, no, I hate weeding. I don't believe you may. I can barely see him. Yeah, nice try. And he would say, what you do is you separate the chips, you dig down with your fingers, and you pull the root out. Then it won't come back maybe next season, but you're going to... He's like, if you're going to do a job, do it 100%. Do it with all you have. Do it so you care about it. You might not like it, but trust me, this is going to make you feel good about yourself. I don't like that speech, but then I experienced what he was saying. And I did not tell him, thank you or you're right, for many years after, because that's really me making me work so hard. I mean, I had friends that didn't have to do anything, but they don't know how to take care of their own homes.
Right.
Kristin, and then I had to stack wood. I had to cut wood with a chainsaw or split it. I can barely see. But, you learn. You can't see me, but I'm doing the axe. So I would hold an axe. I would place it. I would understand. Our brains are brilliant. And I could swing the axe, hit that sucker right in the middle, and chop it apart. Then I had to go stack it. If the pile wasn't stacked within spec, my dad's spec, he pushed it over and make me do it again. Guess what? I've never done a sloppy wood pile since. Why? I'm learning principles of success, principles of independence, principle of confidence. And thank God, my dad never did for me what I could do for myself. Or my mom. Hey, can you go vacuum that room? What are you doing? You're just flipping the vacuum all around. I don't like vacuuming. I don't care. You need to learn how to vacuum. You're going to have to vacuum in your life. You're going to have to take care of it. You're going to have to mop floors. She made me get on the floor with a bucket and scrub each corner. And she didn't say, look, now how does that look? She said, feel. Can you feel the difference? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's disgusting. Exactly. When you have 8-10 people trampling through this house, why do you think I mop the floor every 4 days? I said, God, I just thought you were a little crazy. So these are what we're trying to tell you. This is what I instill in people. Please allow them to find their path. By doing for them what they can do for themselves, you're robbing them of that ability.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, Charlie, all the stuff that we just talked about, the vacuuming, the mowing the grass, the serving themselves, food shopping, unpacking, all of that. I'm certain that there's a lot of you parents out there that are like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that they could really do all that. Yes, they can. And I'm also realizing that we're probably going to have to put like that special label on things that are out there in the public domain that like the explicit label, because there's a lot of kids that are going to have a heart attack over this episode, and they're going to block it from their parents because they're not going to want to be doing all of the chores that we just said. Guess what, kids? You can totally do this on your own. Well, not on your own at first. Look, parents, all kidding aside, you have to realize if you have not charged your kids with doing these kinds of things and doing for themselves what they can do for themselves, and you keep stepping in, enabling, if you're just going to start down that path now, give yourself some grace and space to, it takes a little patience to flip that switch and have everybody on board with doing things themselves. Don't just pull away and say, okay, now you got to go figure it out. We're not saying that. Take baby steps, take one thing at a time, build that momentum, and share pictures of your super clean house and your nicely mowed lawn once everything is working well. Tag us on social media. But yes, it is imperative. This is our biggest tough love episode. It is imperative that, as Charlie says, back up and let them do for themselves what they can. And yes, we know that it is in caring and love that you are thinking that you need to help them with every little thing. But just when you feel like you need to do that, give some thought to the young person that you want to send off into the world. Do you want that child living with you forever? Do you want them getting an apartment down the street and having you come over and clean it? Nope, I don't think you do. So think about that future vision of what the independence looks like in their life, and then take those steps and build momentum to get there. And make sure you tune into the other shows here on the Successibility channel for more principles of success and practical strategies to get you there, to create that momentum. And as Charlie mentioned, we've got the Thriving Blind Academy where we come in and talk about these things. You know, I was talking to one time about my Mitchell learned how to power wash the deck, and it was like, what? How? And I talked about the system of how he goes side to side and back and forth. And I'm sure Charlie can do lessons on mowing the lawn.
We all have toilets, right? And they break. Okay. And I don't know how to fix a toilet. I don't know that flushing thing that keeps running, and it's like, you know, you jiggle it, and then eventually you got to do something about it. And a big lesson for my sighted daughter was I'm sitting on the toilet facing the tank. She has this big instruction thing out trying to help me. But my hand's in there, and she said, Dad, it connects this way. Okay, yeah. Dad, you're not even looking. Yes, I am. I have my hand on it. I see exactly what you're saying. See, and that's the thing that we rob from. See, so many people, you sighted people, do everything through your eyes for the most part. So you look in that tank, you look at those directions, then you look, and if it matches, you feel, oh, okay, I know how to do this. I don't do that. I reach in, and my hand sees exactly what I need to do. Then my mind forms the picture, and I can do the job. And that's what is getting taken away from so many people with vision impairments, is that the sighted world is doing and building for them what they think is impossible, which is not the truth at all.
Yeah, just different points of access. Being a single mom, I had to figure out that chain mechanism. That little chain mechanism. And now there's one that I just tell it. I'm like, stop it. Just stop it. And I jiggle it and it works. But I have learned how to fix the insides of that thing. Not the most fun job in the house, I can tell you that. Tips on how-tos with plumbing and things like that, we are not your go-to.
Nope.
But if you want to learn more about the principles of success and guiding yourself in your life, or people that are impacted by blindness around you, check out other videos here on the Successibility channel and hit the subscribe and notifications bell, and you'll know when we upload new videos each week. And I really do think, Charlie, that we need to do one on mowing the grass on the tractor, because that is Mitchell's next thing that he wants to tackle next summer, and I am clueless on how to make that happen. So maybe you'll see that episode coming up soon if I can nag Charlie for it.
Absolutely.
And as always, share this episode and others that you find valuable on the Successibility channel with people in your life that need the information. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.